What is up, you guys? Welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel that's been MIA. And we're gonna dive into it and talk about all the things and catch up. If you can't tell by the title of this video, I have a major life update to talk about. So I am going to try and do this with as much respect as possible. But also still trying to be fairly authentic and transparent when it comes to this. Before we dive into it, I kind of just want to do kind of like a catch up of all the things. So the last video I posted was in December during Vlogmas. But during Vlogmas I had just mentioned that I was struggling with a little bit. The one thing I want to talk about is I had mentioned that a family member most likely had cancer. And in January we got confirmation that they do indeed have cancer. And just some other things to go with that. I'm not sharing much detail about that just because like I haven't even like shared who the family member is. Just because I just want to respect like my family's privacy and everything. So that was kind of like really hard to deal with for, you know, several different reasons. And then also in January my great aunt passed away, and that was kind of hard. And she lived out of state, and I am so grateful that not last year but the year before we had made a trip to go and visit her, and I'm really grateful that we did. So then we're gonna skip over February because that's when the whole big life update happens. So we're gonna jump into March. March was a hell month, literally. So obviously like you guys know what like the big life update is by like the title, if I title it but I'm thinking it's gonna be titled. So 2 days after the breakup, which we'll dive into, I ended up getting, it was 2 or 3 days, well technically speaking, I started getting kidney stone symptoms the day after, and then it wasn't until 3 days after that I ended up in the emergency room. Either way, I ended up with a kidney stone, a bladder infection, and a kidney infection all at the same time. So it put me in the emergency room twice, and then I had to have surgery, and they put in a stent, and then I had to recover, and I was out of commission for about like 3 weeks. And then right after that I had a very busy 2 weeks with work. And then right after that I had a social media like work trip, and then I just got home from that last weekend, and now it's like a week later, and I'm like, okay, I can finally like dive into like my new normal. So it was just a very chaotic. I'm you know, fully recovered from all of that, although the medical bills, man, I'm so grateful for like health insurance. Let me just put that out there, like so grateful, because like not even all of the claims have been submitted, and I'm just like, oh. If I didn't have health insurance I would be crying. Anyways, so all that to say, let's dive into like the big life update. Oh, before I do that, like I said, I kind of want to do like a whole catch up all. I also found out that another family member of mine also has cancer, and that one's a lot more like recent. And again, I'm not sharing who it is out of respect for like my family. That's just, yeah. Anyways, so it's kind of been a roller coaster of a few months, but let's talk about like the big life update and all that entails, because we're gonna have some changes. Okay, so yeah, the very end of February, so 2 months ago, I made the decision to end my almost 4-year relationship. I don't want to say, like, trying to figure out the best way to go about this. Okay. I will not, as of right now, I am not sharing the main reason. Just because it is a very personal reason, you know, to me and, you know, to my ex. So I don't feel comfortable sharing that, at least not right now. Obviously, like, I know for a fact that, like, sometime in the future it will get brought up and I will talk about it then, but as of, like, right now, I just don't feel like it's something that needs to be talked about. That being said, I feel like it's pretty normal to come out, especially a long-term relationship. I feel like it's normal to come out of a relationship and look back on the relationship and you kind of start to realize things that maybe shouldn't have happened in that relationship. And I definitely have had a couple of those moments. And I really, like, feel bad for myself, but I can honestly say that I actually realized some of these before I ended the relationship. But I think a number of things have happened. One, that was normal. It was like my normal. Two, like, I was comfortable in this relationship. Why would I leave? So let me just, like, and it's interesting because I've talked to a couple people since, and I've heard some things, and I feel like I'm like, yeah, like, validation. Just don't believe everything you hear. So I say that, and it wasn't anything like big. It was just trying to do this like the best way possible. And it's funny because I could probably, like, I think it's safe to say that my ex probably won't be watching this video, so I don't know why I'm, like, struggling, like, with not wanting to say certain things. But so, I guess there was a day after the breakup, like a month after the breakup. Actually, okay, how can I word this? We're not going to get into that right now. Okay, let me dive in. So I actually announced on social media about it, and I did, like, a Q&A on it. So let's dive into those questions. And what I was about to say will get, like, brought up and kind of, like, resurfaced. So let me go to my story archives on Instagram. My phone's actually at 3%, so let's see if I can, if it will make it. Okay. What has been the hardest thing about it? This is where, like, the full circle moment is gonna happen. I feel like it is normal in a long-term relationship, maybe even relationships in general, but specifically long-term relationships, to create friendships together. Rather that be with, like, other couples, or, like, one person has a good group of friends, you kind of, like, introduce, and it all becomes just, like, one big mix. I did not do a good job of keeping old friendships or creating my own friendships during the relationship. So when I ended the relationship, I pretty much lost, like, a ton of friendships. But at the same time, well, a couple of things. It kind of just showed me, like, okay, who was, like, truly my friend for me and not for the relationship that I was in. But also, a lot of these people didn't know about the breakup until I shared it on social media. And that's not my fault, because my ex had asked me when we broke up that I didn't say anything to anyone. And I said, that's fine. I understand, like, you can tell people on your own time. Well, after a month, I said, I'm not going to sit here in silence anymore. That's not fair to me. And I finally started to be vocal about it. And that's how a lot of people found out, unfortunately. But again, that's not on me. So with that, full circle moment here. There was an incident a month after we broke up that I had found out the reason I didn't show up somewhere was because I was busy, when that's not the case now. So it was because we were no longer together and hadn't been together for a month. So yeah, we'll just leave that. We're gonna end that question there. But no, really, I think the hardest part is like, I lost a lot of friendships too. Since I have, you know, come out on social media about it, I have had a couple of them like reach out to me and say like, I didn't want that, you know, to happen. Like I said, they didn't know for a while, but they also kind of wanted to give me like my time and my space, and I respect that. So the next question, what's your plan? And this, I know this question had like several different like reasonings behind it. It was like, you could go take it one way, or you could take it another way, or you can take it in all the ways. So we're gonna kind of take it in all the ways here. I'm gonna just go first. So my big plan is to really just focus on me, and with that I'm actually going to be doing a lot of solo traveling, and I'm really excited, and I feel pulled to share my journey with that. So that kind of like answers the question of like, where does your social media, you know, go for after this? And I really do plan on sharing all of like my solo traveling trips, and my first trip is actually in May. I'm not going to share exact dates or where, just kind of like for safety reasons, but I will be like sharing the journey while I'm there. So make sure you do follow me over on Instagram, because I'm sure it won't necessarily be posted in real time, again for safety reasons, but it would be like a day, like just a day delay, if that makes sense. Maybe, I haven't fully decided, but just make sure you're following me over on Instagram just so you can be up to date on that. Obviously I'll be sharing it all here too. While we're on the topic of social media, something I do want to say, when I was in my relationship, and I had mentioned this in Vlogmas, that I felt like people were holding me back from certain things. And I don't want to say this specific person, but I feel like the relationship in general was really holding me back from a lot. And it's not even, you know, little stuff. I mean, really, like, my social media should be more than it is now, but I just felt like I was held back, so I didn't try more. I didn't put in my full effort into it, and I could go on about that, but we're not going to. And so I just feel like I am fully able to ready to like fully dive in and commit and show my full effort and possibility, like when it comes to social media. So there's that. I just wanted to like kind of get that out of the way. So you still will like still be seeing like day-to-day life vlogs, stuff like that, but also just like I will be sharing a little bit more solo travel content as well. Okay, back to the question of what is your plan. I know everyone has a question of what's your plan. Are you dating? I hate this question. Okay, from the moment I ended the relationship, I said that I was not going to jump right into looking for my next long-term relationship. I knew that I needed time. That was almost a 4-year relationship. I needed some time to like really like focus on me, figure out what I actually want, what I'm looking for, what I need, that kind of stuff. That being said, I had told my mom and my sister, I think that's the only people I told, that I didn't plan on actively dating. That means like I didn't plan on like going on dating apps or anything like that, actively dating and seeking dating until after my first solo trip, which is in May. That being said, I was pretty much just accepting anything and everything that happened. For several different reasons. I just didn't want to like, nope, nothing can happen because like what if, you know, there's like the whole like what if scenarios. That being said, I have gone on a date with someone. We've hung out twice. I'm gonna leave it at that. When it comes to dating, I don't necessarily plan on sharing a whole lot about it. Meaning I don't plan on being like, I'm going on a date with this person, da 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 da. I might be like, I'm going on a date. Here is a story from a date. That's just where I want to go. That being said, when I get into a long-term relationship, and assuming that the person is comfortable with it, which is something that I, you know, will probably be looking for in, you know, my next long-term relationship, then I do plan on sharing more on social media. That's just something that I didn't do in my last relationship. Not that that person wasn't comfortable with it. I had mixed feelings about it, for different reasons. So yeah. That being said, like, do I think I'm ready to start dating again? Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm literally, if I'm being fully honest with you, like, I'm like trying to like convince myself not to download the dating apps right now because I want to stay true to what I said of welcome to having dogs. I wanted to stay true to what I said of not actively dating and doing that until after my first solo travel trip. That's a tongue twister. The reason behind it, one of the big reasons behind it, is I know myself. If I were to start talking to someone or getting into a relationship come time for my trip, I would have been like, well, why don't you just come with me? And that defeats the purpose of the trip. It's supposed to be a solo trip, so it's just easier if I don't get myself into that situation. That being said, you're gonna be like, well, how did you end up going on a date then? I just had someone reach out to me on Instagram. I know this person. It wasn't like some stranger. And yeah, I would honestly say it was more like catching up and hanging out than it was a date, but we're gonna call it what it was, and it was a date. So there's that. I really think that's all I have to address. I'm really nervous. Let's see how much I edit out because, like I said, I really want to try and do things with a lot of respect, but while still being transparent with everyone and myself. Obviously I'm not going to sit here and like air, you know, everything. Like, here's all of the things that happened. Like, no, I don't think I plan on doing that, at least not right now. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to a point where I feel comfortable sharing more, but for now, this is where we're at. And I'm really excited to see where life takes me. So, yeah. I did it. Thank you guys so much for all of the love, support. I mean, when I, you know, first shared about it over on like Instagram, I got a lot of love and support and messages and all the things, and I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, that being said, thank you guys so much. Oh, I guess I should say, like, I don't really have a plan for what my upload schedule, however you want to word that. I don't have a plan for that, so I don't know when I'll see you next, but I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and like I said, I'm just really excited to see what happens. So bye guys.